I mean, you either feel A&M to me, it feels like everybody's like sleeper. The team's going to be really good, or this team sucks. Like I feel like it's, and I keep hearing, well, Jimbo's had talent. Jimbo's not a good coach. He's not maximizing his talent. Jimbo hasn't had talent like he has now. There's a difference when you stack 2 top 3 classes on top of each other. And last year, the number 1 class in the country. Every coach in America will tell you that's kind of hard to screw up. It really is. It's kind of hard to screw up that great of talent. Look at Kirby, look at Nick, look at Dabo consistently. They're great coaches, don't get me wrong, but again, it ain't like they're missing with their talent year after year after year. So I look for A&M to be a team that they don't need to be at 8 anymore. You know, you're going to do recruiting this well from now on, Rece. They need to be a team that is in the mix before the season and in the mix at the end of the season, because your talent level says that, you know, like that should be something in the future that I'll be looking forward to.
I need to see some quarterback play there.
Amen.
Max Johnson's going to be the guy. I can tell you that. What I saw from Max at LSU, I like enough to say that he's going to be the guy, and it's going to be way better than it was in previous years. That I can guarantee.
Is he leading the competition? I've kind of gotten a vibe that Haynes King is kind of moved out there. What?
Well, and listen, and first of all, I don't talk to anybody. You know that. I don't have friends. Yeah. So I'm not talking to anybody at A&M.
You have me, David.
But from what I've seen from Haynes King, and listen, it was a small sample size a year ago. Max Johnson can do some elite things when it comes to processing. Max Johnson can do a lot of Jimbo Fisher type things that he wants him to do to go through progressions. Max Johnson will stare down the barrel and get smacked in the face and deliver a strike. And I think he's got enough mobility to make plays. I've seen more from Max, so I trust Max a lot more. And that's why if I was having to pick one guy that I think I would roll with Max.
So to pull it back 30,000 feet, the 2 most interesting teams that I think to rank this year, and that I was curious where they'd get ranked, are the teams that ended up unranked last year, which are A&M and USC. Now, you showed some judiciousness by putting USC at 14, which I completely agree with, Rece. I know my job was to tear your ballot apart, but I need to see some kind of heartbeat from that USC defense. I need some kind of sign, some kind of just defensive front presence. I mean, Chip scored 62 on them last year at the end of the regular season. Oregon State, off the top of my head, was in the 50s in the Coliseum. Nolan was running up and down the field. So to me, and I know Lincoln is a genius, and I am a huge Caleb Williams fan. I think he'll be the number 1 pick in the 24 draft. I think there's a lot of, what they've upgraded offensively and skill-wise is great, but their offensive and defensive lines, you can't quick fix those spots. Portal, if there's a great defensive lineman in the portal, for the most part, there's problems. There's those positions, I always say you can't microwave your lines, especially your offensive line. And so I am still going to hesitate. I just can't get out of my mind how Stanford ragdolled them last year.
And that was
you're going to tell me they're going to go to
team.
Stanford?
Yeah.
You're going to go to Stanford this year and win by 221. I need to see it a little bit before I jump on the bandwagon. And the same thing with A&M. Obviously, the injury at the quarterback position, sidestep that season. But I still have a feeling, and I agree with David on stacking classes. People ask me how will Marcus Freeman do at Notre Dame? Well, if he has 3 straight top 5 classes, Marcus Freeman's going to do just fine. If you have elite talent and you have a quarterback, which Notre Dame I don't think has right now, but will. But if you have elite talent and a quarterback, you're going to win football games. It's just it's like basic college football physics, right? And so, but I do think if A&M, which has a brutal schedule as you're always going to have in the West, I just have a hard time seeing them waking up and going 10-2 or 11-1 right now. So,
as it pertains to USC, and I want to be very clear about how I say this. I too believe that Lincoln Riley is an exceptional offensive coach. I do believe that he will be successful at USC. But he stepped into a situation where the culture was built at Oklahoma. Now, did he put his mark on it in some areas? Of course he did. But the culture was built. Bob Stoops built that culture, and it was fine when he stepped in there. He's now taking a conglomeration and trying to fit in transfer portal pieces and a program that hasn't been tough on the lines of scrimmage, as you alluded to. And they've lost 6 of 7, and only one of them was a 1-possession game, and people are leaving and coming and going. And, I know he can drive the Lamborghini. I want to see if he can build one. I suspect he can. But that's why I'm not on the bandwagon of them, as a playoff contender, top 5 team, all of that kind of thing. But on sheer talent, on Williams to Jordan Addison, assuming they can get along and everybody's happy, will they knock off somebody that they're not supposed to? Yeah, probably. But they also might get clipped by someone they're not supposed to, because even as good as things were going at Oklahoma, they had the occasional Kansas State, Iowa State problem, and not to cast aspersions at 2 solid programs, but they probably didn't have any business, giving the Sooners the level of problems they did over the last few years.
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all. Now listen, I think I definitely agree with you too, Rece, because he definitely found the parts to the Lamborghini really quickly without having, he had to pay for some of it, I'm sure. But like, I think
which Trojan collective did that? Which warring faction of Trojan collectives did that?
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.